The Film Slice Crew Review! Alita Battle Angel.
Alita Battle Angel.
Get excited, everybody. It's had a lot of hype.
Hey, Team Vegas Tracker here, and welcome to the Film Slice Podcast. I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Kane Diggly Wiggly Kane Dogs.
Hello.
Man, formerly known as Bro Diddly Doo Broadman Richards. This week he is known as...
The one-legged man. Not
Cool.
For no reason.
Not for no reason.
Brody rolled his ankle and now he has to hobble around like a small one-legged man.
He is, in fact, crippled
Small one,
slightly.
man. Just adding. Yeah, it somehow changed my height.
Yeah.
This week we are reviewing Alita Battle Angel. Kane Dogs, you want to whip out that IMDb summary for us?
Yep. Do it every week?
Every week.
Episode 59.
And he's always prepared.
He's always right there.
always
on the ball.
ready to go.
You can always rely on me, lads. A deactivated female cyborg. Hold on. Hold on.
No, we're keeping it.
Hold on.
Keep going.
Cyborg. Oh my god. A cyborg.
Please continue.
No, I need to cough.
Amazing.
And that's why I tried to get it out.
Cyborg.
Alright, okay. A deact... Fuck. Alright. A deactivated female cyborg is revived, but cannot remember anything of her past life and goes on a quest to find out who she is. I did it.
We
Well
made
done,
it.
Jordan.
You can
Well
always
done.
count on
We
me.
made it. Very good.
That's not
Directed
really-
by James Cameron?
James Cameron.
Yeah, same guy that
Is it
did...
directed by him or is it just produced by him?
Oh, maybe it's
Directed and produced. It's directed
Ooh,
and
bit of both.
produced.
Really?
And it is based off the graphic novel Alita Battle Angel.
Which is like a manga,
yeah.
anime-ish type deal.
Yes.
From Japan.
From Japanese, yeah.
Yep. You can tell because of the massive anime eyes that
You know
she
what's
has.
weird about that is there's been a lot of complaints about that, and a lot of people have said, no, but it's like that. It's like that in the comics.
It's like that in Mars.
It's like that in the comics. The problem is in the comic, everybody is drawn like that. She's not actually meant to look different to everyone else except for the robotic body. Her face is drawn the same way he drew all of the characters' faces.
Yeah.
So it's weird to decide to only make her look like that.
Well, we'll get into it.
It was directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Was it not directed by James Cameron?
Oh, there you
I didn't think it was.
go. Robert Rodriguez, who has done...
Other things.
He's done... is he Tarantino's mate?
God, I hope not.
Maybe. He did El Mariachi
Yeah.
and Sin City.
Yeah.
A Dame to Kill For. Spy Kids 2. Planet Terror. From Dusk Till Dawn, the series. Oh.
He did the Machete one.
Machete.
Machete Kills.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
great
Spy
is...
Kids 4.
You know what's great is because he did both Machete Kills and Spy Kids 2.
They're interlinked.
They're interlinked because the uncle is played by the same guy is called Machete.
Yeah.
So it's actually the same character, not just the same actor.
Love it.
The same character.
All right, let's get into it. When did you see the movie and what did you think?
When did you see the movie? What did you think? Do you like the movie? None of the shit.
I saw this Saturday afternoon.
Mm-hmm. Which for our listeners listening anytime.
A couple of
how
days
many
ago.
was it?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday it was.
Yesterday.
So
Very good.
yesterday with the GF and probably overhyped if I were to say so. Overhyped. I didn't care for it too much. There was some fun parts in it, but it felt very preachy to me and a bit all over the place. I got bored as well.
Yeah. It's a long movie.
2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's a long
film.
movie.
So yeah, I enjoyed aspects of this movie, but I don't think I'd see it again.
Yeah.
It's too long and there's just a lot of inconsistencies.
Fair call. Broadman, when did you see the movie? What'd you think?
I didn't see this movie as I was unable to get to cinema because I only have the one leg.
And what did you think of it?
I thought that the trailers didn't look very good. I'm expecting this to be a little bit of better quality than Ready Player One and Mortal Engines.
Yeah.
But in a similar vein of
Yeah,
CGI fest.
I think very similar to almost on the same level as Ready Player One.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw this movie yesterday as well. In the morning. No, at night. later at night. Not important, Angus. Move on.
Yeah, you.
So,
But what minute was it? What exact time? What coloured socks were you wearing,
it was the
Angus?
6:30 session.
The listeners need to know.
8:50. The socks I was wearing was black, but it had like a little kind of blue stripe on the sole.
Oh, I like those blue stripy
yeah,
sole socks that you have.
They're pretty good, and they're new, so they were kind of fluffy as well.
We're starting a new
Pretty
podcast.
comfortable.
The
Film
film
socks
socks
review.
podcast. Whoa.
Go on, Angus.
That was a mess.
I actually enjoyed probably the first hour and a half.
Yeah.
It had a good start, and it did a really good job in world building. And the kind of exploring the lore of it and everything, because it's quite a different concept to what you're used to. Without going too far into it before our spoilers.
Oh, actually, it's Xilium. Elysium? No, Elysium. It's called Elysium.
Elysium.
It's Elysium.
It's similar to that.
It's the same as Elysium.
The rich people get to live
There's
in
a big
space.
city in space or in the sky, and all the rich people live there, and then all the people that aren't that live on the ground.
Fair enough.
So, I enjoyed the first hour and a half or something, but it did kind of go on for quite a while.
It lost.
And
Not only did it lose momentum, but I also feel it lost focus on the original goals. We were sort of given a direction, and then it got really sort of muddled up.
And the ending was quite rubbish.
Yes.
Quite horrible. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I did not enjoy the ending one little bit, but we'll get onto it in spoilers. But before we go into spoilers, lads, you know how every week I put up on Instagram and sometimes Twitter, this being an occasion which I haven't.
Yes.
Sorry, all of our
Just to let our
diehard fans on Twitter.
Just to let our slicey slicers know what we're reviewing and if they've seen it, so they can chuck in their idea of the film. Normally, no one gets back to us. Good, we're okay. We're all on board.
Shall I-
Excellent.
Keep going, mate.
All right,
I'm assuming there's not a single comment
we got one.
because you put
Got
it up
one.
when you
No,
got here
sorry,
today.
we got two. We did get two.
Yes!
We got two.
I always guess two.
First one is
Yes.
from Jordan Kane, 1994.
I don't know who that guy is, but he's probably just a bloody legend.
Yeah, and really effing old.
A bloody
Yeah.
legend.
Born in 94.
I'm not that old.
He said, this movie was overrated and boring. I kind of enjoyed it though. I don't know. With a little emoji with a guy with his two hands up to his shoulders like, I don't know.
He sounds like he didn't want to give too much away, just in case he had more to elaborate on.
Yeah. Our
Smart. Played it
second...
smart.
our
Good on him.
Our,
Shout out to you.
Shout out to that guy. Nah, he doesn't need one.
Nah. Bit of a prick.
Our second comment is from Instagram, and it says, new, introducing threaded replies. Tap reply on comment to start a conversation. So that's nice. So thanks to Instagram. Special shout out
Thanks,
to
Instagram. Good to know they're listening.
That's
what we got.
That's how popular we are. That Instagram itself is commenting on
we
our.
only had the one message, and it was from one of the hosts
Yeah.
of the podcast.
Which seems to
Who
be a
will
bit of a
remain
theme
the
emerging.
best hosts.
Oh, I don't know.
Wow.
A host, I guess.
I just didn't message anything.
Cane Dogs, anything on
Look,
Facey?
So, as you all know, every now and then I put up some photoshopped images of our faces on the
Yes.
movie posters.
I loved the ones for this week, by the way.
I did one. I did two this week. One with my face and one with Brody's face. And the only comments we got was I'll read it verbatim if I can find it. Was from Caitlin O'Donnell. Said, "Okay, I'm half asleep and scrolling past, and I nearly had a heart attack. This is terrifying."
That was to me.
And then we had Brody say,
Scariest face.
yeah, then it says, "Yep, aha, no regrets. I agree. All of your comments, Brody, have been deleted for some reason. So it only has. Oh wait, yep, I've got. You know what? Never mind.
This is
Jordan's
great.
just learning how to use social media right now.
I just realised how Facebook works.
Turns out that Jordan fell out of the sky and he's completely forgot everything from his previous life.
I need to go. My planet needs me.
Speaking of falling out of the sky,
Look,
Alita Battle
Caitlin wasn't a
Angel
fan.
Alita
is what we're reviewing if you've just joined us. I don't know why you started here, but we'll keep
Terrible
going.
name, terrible name for a film. Should have just been called Alita.
Yeah, just
Or
call it
should have
Alita.
just been called Battle
Angel. Yeah. Cool, that's what our Slicey Slicers thought of Alita Battle Angel this week. Moving on, would you recommend it? Who would you recommend it to? Starting with you, Broadman.
Broadman. First off, it's the one-legged man.
The One-Legged Man. That's what I said.
I wouldn't recommend this film. Didn't look good.
Yeah, absolutely, I would. I think if you like Ready Player One, any of those films that are big on action, but
Fluffy romance.
yeah, like really sort of shallow in a lot of the other aspects of it in terms of story structure and relationships between characters, things like that. If you just want to see a cool action sequence between some cool CGI robot ninja type shit, yeah, absolutely.
Ninja type shit.
This film would sell action figures and stuff like that. What I will say is maybe not to the youngsters, because when I saw the trailers, it looked like a kids' film-ish. Looked like it was going to have some violence in it, but it still looked like. But there are so many decapitations.
Yep.
People get Anakin Skywalkered all over the fucking place. Literally,
Cunt Dooku'd?
every second person is like a cyborg with robotic limbs, and almost all of them but Alita Battle Angel get their arms cut off or their face cut off, and for some reason it insinuates that they can feel pain when all of that happens. So it's borderline very torturous.
Yeah.
And also Alita drops the F-bomb straight into the camera, which is also really confusing because
she does.
at some point she just looks straight at a bad guy and she's like, "Fuck you," and I'm like, "Jeez, okay." I don't know if that was.
But yeah, because you kind of think it is kind of the same vein as Ready Player One, but Ready Player One was a lot more PG.
Feels like it'd have.
Yeah, Ready Player One was PG.
Feels like it'd have a few scary moments, but nothing over the top. Whereas I don't think a kid, like, you could take a kid to this, but you probably shouldn't.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, let's head on into spoilers.
Oh, what a cool sound effect, Angus.
We're in the spoiler section where we dissect and divulge everything about the film. You've been warned. Rest in peace. God have mercy on your soul. Broadman, I think it's fitting, seeing as we're in Cinema Dick territory at the moment. You are film/pod dick.
Okay.
You're film/pod dick because you didn't go and see the movie. So, I guess you go first.
Yeah, sure. So here's some quick thoughts that I had that this film is going to be similar to. Right?
Okay.
So I think that this film is going to have a short sequence at the beginning of Christoph Waltz's character finding Alita.
Correct.
And then it's going to cut to her all grown up and she's just like walking around the city. But then we're going to get a lot of other stories of him putting her back together through flashbacks. That's a quick thought I had.
So it does start with her being found.
Yeah.
And then the next scene is him building her a new body.
Okay, so it actually goes through him building her.
And then the next scene is her waking up with no memory of what's happened, and it goes from there.
Okay.
So everything else that happens isn't montaged.
Okay.
But that's a flaw that I will get to.
Yeah.
Do we get a voiceover from Alita?
We get this weird thing, so I don't know if you picked up on it, it was really weird. Sometimes before she said something out loud, we would hear her think it word for word. So she'd look at a bad guy and she'd be like, "I'm gonna defeat you." And then she'd say, "I'm gonna defeat you." And it was really odd.
I didn't pick up on that.
Did you pick? No. It happens maybe twice in the film, but there's parts where you hear her talk in her brain and then she says it verbatim out loud. And it was an odd decision.
Okay.
Do you mean to say verbatim?
No, probatum, mate.
Okay.
Sticking with it. Fuck you.
Probatum.
All right.
Verbatim.
That's not a great word.
Verbatim?
All right.
Verbatim.
So this is what I've got next.
Masturbatum.
Okay. So she's like living in the city. She's awakened or whatever. She's going to accidentally reveal herself to the world by doing something, which is caught on like video. And then people from the floating city like send assassins after her, which she doesn't like. And so she sets out to try to get up to the floating city.
Okay. First half, no. Second half, yes. So she doesn't so much unveil us. Everybody's sort of a robotic cyborgy type deal.
Yeah.
So for the first half of the film, she's not really special.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of assassins that go after her, and she wants to get up the top.
Okay.
Yep.
And she figures out, because I saw the trailer, she's going to get up to the floating city by entering the robot fight games that we saw in the trailer, the winner of which gets to go to the floating city.
Correct, but she never gets there. They've opened it up for 1,000 movies that they'll never make. The end scene is her doing the sport.
Okay, so she never gets up to the top.
She never gets there. The movie ends with her deciding to do roller derby.
Cinema Dick. Cane Dogs, you have a dick?
Look, I just had a... Bro, if you're gonna laugh audibly so the audience knows you're laughing. Otherwise, it's just silence.
No, I didn't laugh, Jordan. I'm not childish like you.
So, I didn't so much have a particular cinema dick. I just had a packed cinema full of, it was just a lot of people talking and whispering, and like someone, it was like all of them, but it was sort of white noise, like someone had their iPhone out to take a Snapchat of the opening thing, there were kids behind us, so I got scared at scenes, and there were like, there was a couple talking to each other, but...
Fair. I have a specific cinema dick.
Yeah?
Yep. So it's similar kind of thing.
Show
like
us
it was pretty packed.
That one was
a bit blatant.
Yeah, it's a bit less subtle than Angus's.
Was it though?
Wow.
So sitting on our aisle, there was a father and a son that had come to see the movie.
What
and
dicks?
Obviously,
Moving on.
And obviously, the dad thought, it was more of a kid's movie than it actually was. Because, some of the violence early on, he was like, ugh. So every time...
People get straight up
how,
tortured in this movie.
Yeah, you know how, you can kind of see where a scene's going? He'd say to his kid, like, all right, close your eyes. Like, don't watch this part. Like you do with kids in scary movies,
As a result,
which is fine.
you'd miss 90% of the movie.
You miss 90% of the thing, but then he's like, okay, you can open your eyes now. And then the kid would be like, so what happened? And then the dad just explains exactly what happened. I'm like, well, if you're going to say that guy just got killed and decapitated, maybe just...
Also, if your kid understands
the
the word decapitated,
yeah,
he's probably old enough.
I mean, my kid understands that word. It's his favorite word. It was his first word.
His first word was decapitated. He's also a gremlin. Brody, do you have a cinema dick?
I do. It's just a general... Yeah, Jordan does this thing where he just calls me up and he's like, Brody, we're going to the movie tonight and we're going to see this. And I'm like, okay, I've really badly hurt my ankle, so probably going to give it a miss. And then John's like, nah, I'll be right, just go. And I'm like,
I did try it for a good 20 minutes. I really tried it.
No, I probably hurt it.
In a lot of pain.
I can't walk. And he's like, nah, Brody, we're going. And there was a part of me that was like, my heart was just like, oh, Jesus. What if he actually shows up and we have to go?
I was one decision away.
Yeah, so Jordan, Dick, every week from here on out, I'm going to be trying to weasel my way to get Jordan in as cinema Dick.
All right, let's head on into our positives. Kane Dogs, your most positive thing about the film?
I really enjoyed the action sequences in this and the character designs.
Yeah.
Not of Alita. Alita was probably my least favorite character design.
Your elitist favorite? No.
So, her robotic body may be the first, because she has two bodies throughout the movie.
Yeah.
The first one I preferred because it had more detail, it was more intricate, looked robotic.
Yeah.
The second one was just, it might as well have just been a suit that the actors wore, painted purple. But all the other characters, because you've seen cyborgs in quite a lot of things, it's hard to find a way to do that and have it feel like something I haven't seen.
Yeah.
But all of the characters looked really interesting. I wanted to learn more about some of the characters that were only introduced momentarily. There's an entire league of warriors that they're all like bounty hunters, and she goes into a bar, and there's a whole bunch of characters. I'm like, oh, he looks cool. I want a movie about that guy though.
Yeah.
So a lot of the character designs are really cool, and yeah, a lot of the action sequences were pretty cool as well. That's my biggest positive though for this film.
Fair.
Angus, your biggest positive for this movie?
My biggest positive for this movie, I think, is the CGI. I think the CGI was done really well. I mean, James Cameron obviously has a lot of experience in producing.
I was gonna say, he has a lot of money.
He has got a lot of money.
He's just got too much money.
Yeah, I think the CGI, and I liked the story, and I think they delved deep enough into the background and the lore that you kind of understood the whole world, like the world as a whole and everything. Like, I really enjoyed the stuff from Mars, and because what would happen is she'd be in like a fight or something, and being in an aggressive situation, she would have a flashback to the war, and so it would flash back to bits of the war, and she'd be like fighting on the moon or something. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool.
There's so much of this movie that isn't explained.
Yeah, I like that though.
I don't need it all explained, but look, the biggest question, I already brought it up. How did they fucking lose? Her herself can apparently just beat literally everybody. How did 100 of them lose?
I don't know.
Doesn't make sense.
Or maybe they won. I guess we'll find out in episode 5, Alita Battle Angel. Yeah, but that was my favorite bit, kind of seeing the lore and the whole kind of background of the story.
Yep. Okay.
Fair enough.
How do we want to go to Brody with this one?
I guess we just don't.
Brody, what do you like about the concept?
I am a big fan of...
What looked interesting to you?
I'm a big fan of sci-fi. I don't know. I think I'm becoming less and less interested in CGI fight scenes.
Yeah.
Just because we've seen a million of them since like the first Transformers film, right? Where they all kind of look the same now. If that makes any sense.
This put the effort into giving each character a proper martial arts feel and style to it. So it wasn't just like, oh, he's got a laser on his arm and this guy can shoot some fingers out.
Fair
a
enough.
lot of them actually, like, there's a guy that has a sword. And like, yeah, no, that doesn't sound interesting.
There's one guy has a sword, the other guy kicks.
A laser gun.
The point is the choreography in this is pretty good.
Wow, fair enough. But
yeah,
like,
I actually, and they kind of had as probably like a mix of a few martial arts, but they specifically said that there was a particular martial arts that Alita used, which was from Mars.
Look,
Like,
it was just moving slightly faster than everybody else.
martial arts.
Martial arts.
Martial arts.
I also
Sounds
feel like
delicious.
in a lot of films these days, I never... Maybe it's just because we've all seen so many films, but I never feel scared for the protagonist.
Yeah,
Right?
that's one of my negatives with this.
Is this like, no matter what happens, you're always like, well, obviously she's going to get out of it. Obviously they're going to get out of it. It's like, and I think a film does a great job when it can make me suspend that feeling for the short time of the film, of when we're going through and I'm like, I don't know if they're actually going to live by the end of this film. And I think if a film can like manage to do that, then it's usually a really great experience for me. But watching the trailers for this, I was like, there's no way that's going to happen.
So-
Same thing with watching pretty much any big blockbuster these days. Like you just don't get that feeling. So like, you'll be in a fight scene and it's like, yeah, it looks pretty cool, but I don't really feel anything.
So there is
And
one
that's
scene that,
exactly the feeling I was getting from the trailers for this.
There is one scene that kind of caught me off guard where I had like a similar kind of feeling like, oh, like obviously she's going to get out of it somehow. Like you've just found out that she's this supercharged battle angel from Mars. And
I think
she
this
goes
scene
down
you're
in-
about to talk about is part of my negative.
Yeah,
but
she
flesh it out.
She goes. She's basically she's fighting like this massive
Assassin. basically.
assassin. Goes
He's in
down.
the trailer, the guy with the chains for fingers.
Yeah, goes down into the goes down in the
You
underworld.
didn't add that when you were talking about the different cyborgs? One of them has a sword. And then later on, yeah, the massive guy with the chains for fingers. Why didn't you bring him up?
That's fine.
So anyway, so like there's this kind of big fight between this cyborg bounty hunter and Alita, and you kind of have that feeling like, oh, like obviously she's gonna kind of get out of it, and she goes to charge at him, and he just cuts her apart, like cuts her into 5 pieces, and she just flops to the floor, and you're like, that.
Gets
that
to the point
wasn't
where she's
right.
just
And then,
she's a head, an upper torso, and like a left arm.
yeah, and so he picks her up by the hair and stuff. I'm like, okay, where's this going? And then she stabs him in the eye with her hand.
No, she doesn't.
And then her
but
hand chops off.
But even more, it's not while he picks her up by the head. It's not like he's holding her in front of his face. She pushes herself into the air from the floor like an insanely charged one-handed push-up.
Oh yeah,
Flips through the air just as a head and an arm, and then successfully stabs him in the eyeball.
with her hand.
With her
and then
hand,
her hand gets
snaps off
off,
inside his head.
and then people come to save her after that, and the bounty hunter runs away with her hand in his head.
So to build on
Okay.
to build on
but
that
like,
scene,
I
Anakin
would've-
Skywalker's watching that, being like, "I should have done that."
Should have run away with a hand in my face.
No, I should have flipped myself up as a one-armed torso and stabbed Obi-Wan Kenobi in the face.
I would have liked to have seen a scene like from Futurama where Bender puts both of his arms back on after losing his arm.
Yes.
Where it's like he puts one arm on and then it cuts to the other arm and he puts that arm on. It's like, and then Fry's like, I don't even know how you did that. It's like, I'd have liked to have seen
it's like
that
the
sort of
first
scene.
episode as well.
Yeah,
I think.
the very
it's
first
great.
episode.
Yeah.
So
good.
building off of that scene leads into one of 2 main negatives I have. But just while we're on it, as Brody said, you don't necessarily feel anything. Alita, we are told, is the greatest warrior ever, and that at no point is ever challenged. In every single fight she has, even ones where she's completely dismembered, she still wins and comes out fine. And that's the thing that annoys me. Like, the one time where she's completely ripped in half, she just has another body. So who cares? But my main negative that
Well, for negatives, I've written down, Jordan will hate the love interest, and he will probably think the music is so-so.
Okay, music is so-so. This isn't just about the love interest, but all of her relationships. This movie doesn't give us any time frame until the last... After all of the movie has happened in the last 3 minutes, we're told that months pass after everything's occurred. But during the time of us meeting her, waking up not knowing where she is, and the end of the film, I think it's meant to be over the period of about 6 months, at least. Because she meets a guy and they fall in love and they try to save up together, and she has this whole thing...
Is that the guy that looks like he's like 16?
Discount Shia LaBeouf. And she has this whole thing where the doctor lost his daughter in an accident and he's trying to replace her with Alita, and she's like, I'm not your daughter, but later she's like, thank you, father, and it's big. But it feels like it happened over 3 days.
Yeah.
And because of that, nothing makes sense. She just seems insane. It's like she met a guy and the next day she literally offers to pull out her heart from her chest and give it to him so he can sell it for money so that they can run away together. Like, she does things that if they'd had a long, structured relationship and we'd cared about it, all of her decisions would be relatable. But because it feels like they met each other, and then the next day he introduced her to some of his friends, and then the next day they're in love and she's going to give him his heart and they're going to run away together and they're going to have a life, and it's insane because you feel like everything happened that day. Yep.
Fair enough. My biggest negatives, besides the ending, I mean, the ending was so subpar because it's building up.
Ended halfway through a film.
It really did. Like,
it really was like, hey, we're going to make 2 more of these.
Yeah, it was building up to like the climax being she's going to get to the top of the city and then something's going to happen up there. She's going to kill the person that's been doing all this, the puppeteer or whatever.
People don't know how to make trilogies anymore. Remember, Mortal Engines was like all 3 books in like one.
Yeah.
In one film, and it's like, wait, where are they going to go next?
So every movie ever made just cultly put into a...
And then this one's like halfway through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like it's
they
it's
start
literally
the middle and then they cut the film.
It's half a movie that lasts for 2.5 hours. Like if you've got 2.5 hours screen time, then you should kind of end with a bigger climax than what we got, which was her just about to start her final race to win the BattleBots tournament to get up. The other negative that I had was the sound. Like the music was like it was fine. Like there wasn't really a lot of theme to it.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but this movie needed one of those Wonder Woman. It needed a theme.
My problem wasn't with like the music as such. It did this weird thing. I don't know if you picked up on it, Cane Dogs, where when they were fighting, they didn't have any sound effects for the punches and the hits and things like that. Like it would just be music. So there's a scene like right at the start where she first like draws blood basically, and she basically gets on top of this guy and just beats his face into a pulp. But you don't hear any of the hits, and you're like, okay, well this is like her first thing, like, rage induced, kind of like where that like really high pitched squeal comes from, like if like the grenade's blown, kind of, that kind of thing. And you're like, okay, well it's the first time she's attacking someone, the first time she's kind of figuring out that she's a fighter. Cool. But that happens all throughout the film. Like the second and third main fight, there's all these scenes where they go to punch and they punch out of frame and you're not sure if they've hit anyone because there's no sound effect to it. It's just music.
Okay.
So that I found that really, really odd.
That sounds really weird.
Sweet. I think that makes us takes us to the end of that Poddy Pod Pod, unless we've got anything to add about Alita Battle Angel. Next week we are going to be reviewing Stan and Ollie, so definitely let us know your thoughts on that if you can. That would be sweet. We'll chuck it in the next podcast. Cane Dogs, do you have any idea to end the film?
No.
Cool. All right. See you next time. Bye.
All right. See ya.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you for listening to the Film Slice podcast.
Oh,
God.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ,
well done,
Jordan.
mate.
Turn off your phone.
Jesus.
Jordan,
All right.
Cinema Dick, from
Classic.
now until forever.
Anyway, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, listen to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, all that jazz. See you next week. Bye.